Good morning, everybody. It's Alex Archowski. I'm just doing a hot mic test here, just to let everybody know. Appreciate staying on mute just for the time being. I know we all want to chime in. Just stay on mute if you can. We're just going to get some stragglers in, just kind of some virtual registration. Don't go too far, and then we'll get back in a couple minutes. Thank you. All right, folks, it's time to go live. We got about 22 participants with us today. What I'd like to do is just to get a virtual thumbs up if everybody can hear me. All right, sounds good. Good. We got about 23 people. We're going to have stragglers come in because I think people are still doing their day-to-day work. I think it would be great just to get going and then continue our format that we've done. First and foremost, I want to thank Ashley, who's been available to be able to do and help us adapt to this new environment, get us up and running. So big thanks to Ashley. And also big thanks to our committee being flexible as we're moving to this type of format. So welcome everybody to the March Veteran Business Referral Network. Under the circumstances we're in right now, you know, health, family, and work is our top priority. And we did not want to postpone or cancel any of this. I think it's important for us to be here. And I think this is going to be our first test run to see how this works. I know next month we're working on something else to do breakouts one-on-one after this into the group. So there's more things to come. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to be here today, and then we have a great speaker. So first and foremost, as we said in the beginning of the year, we have some people and partners that are involved with our organization. Comcast, the NBC Universal has been a partner of ours for some years now. They've done great work in the community, not only hiring veterans, but also involved with our veteran entrepreneurship, with Veteran Shark Tank. And thank you, Comcast NBC Universal, for your continued support. One of our newest supporters is the Villanova University College of Professional Studies. You know, they've been up and coming in the areas of engagement in our community. The College of Professional Studies is really more the area of continued education that Villanova University offers, and we'll be able to share all this more with you after our program. So some admin things, what we're going to do is let's go through the agenda. Bear with me as I'm trying to get my next slide up. I'm going to have to drop off and get back on. Little technical things today. I'm sure you'll understand. So we will do our 30-second pitches for the agenda today. Our guest speaker is John Cleck. And then we'll have an announcement at the end and some closing and some wrap up as well. So what we're going to do for this 30-second pitch, we'll ask you to unmute yourself. But when your name is called, we're going to go through everybody, and I apologize if we don't get 100%. So what I'll do is I'll go through the list that I have in front of me for people that are in attendance. And then please share yourself, your 30-second pitch. And then once we're done, we're going to do go to John Cleck, our guest speaker. And under these circumstances here today, we will be able to share with you all the attendees, because I know it's hard to network and we didn't set this up appropriately, the people on this. What we ask you to do is to please write notes down for the people and the business that they are and the business that they're in, just for reminders. Okay, so it's your responsibility today just to take notes of everybody that you've heard and what they do. In addition, we changed a little bit the format. We're going to do a run. I'll do the test of it, and then we'll move on. Probably do Ashley second, and then we'll continue on with everybody else. So here's the format of the 30-second pitch. Name and service. What value do you bring to the members here? So basically, how can you help our community? For those that are new here, I know this is going to be new. What we've been talking about, what we call the Veteran Business Referral Network, is what value can you bring others? What industry do you come from? What is your skill set? What value can you bring to others? Introductions, so on and so forth. What is it that you need? And what is the ask? Are you looking to hire somebody for your business? Are you looking for a vendor? Are you looking for additional services? What is it that you need? So please take time to think about those things as we're walking through this as we get going. So without further ado, we got 24 people. I'm sure we'll have a couple of others join in. And I want to go down the list. Ashley, why don't you go down? Well, I'll go first, then I'll go to Ashley. Okay. So Alex Herchowski, Navy. What value do I bring to the members here is with a lot of connections into the military community for networking, for either employment or business, for any kind of referrals in any industry. I'm pretty strong in those areas. Please let me know how I can help you. My background is in sales. My company is Sales Evolution. I'm also the founder of Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network. What is it that I need and what is the ask? For me personally, right now, the need is just for our community to remain engaged, for my customers to stay engaged with me. So if you know anybody out there looking for continued education in sales, be happy to connect with them. Great, we'll pass it on to Ashley.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Owens. We are going to start this. My name is Ashley Owens. I'm a networking concierge, and what I do is I work with my clients and go to events as an extension of them to help them network throughout the room, to make sure that they're following up correctly. My entire job is to network, but I also work with the Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network as running operations. So my value is that I can make wonderful introductions because I do that all day long. And I also provide a subscription service around creating community around the networking activities. In addition to that, I have 2 digital talk shows, and I'm done.
So as always, we know that Ashley has the timekeeper there. So it's good that she does it that way.
That's right.
So we're going to go down the list. Please be conscious. We're not going to wait too long. If you miss your turn, we just got to move on pretty fluid here. Just everything's going to be about trying to do this pretty fluid. Renee Joseph, please unmute yourself and then 30-second pitch.
Good morning, everybody. This is Renee Joseph. I am not a veteran, but I've been wanting to connect with them because I'm a business and a franchise consultant. And my job is to help people to, whenever there is a right fit, to get connected with the right businesses. And thanks for the opportunity. Renee Joseph, WiseLink International.
Thank you. Brad Mills. Brad Mills, are you there, sir?
He's probably not.
You're on mute if you're still hearing.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yep.
Mills, I'm a Marine, commercial real estate broker with Avis & Young. What do I bring to this organization? I bring a lot of contacts, happy to help people network, happy to connect with people on LinkedIn and share contacts and help with resumes and approach and what have you for job search. What am I looking for? I'm a commercial real estate broker. I represent corporate and nonprofit tenants and help them pay less money for their leases. So if you know of an organization that has a lease coming due, there we go. Thank you.
Good stuff. Brad Pellegrin, you're up next. Please unmute yourself and begin your 30-second pitch.
How's it going, everybody? Bradley Pellegrin, Army. What value do I bring the members here? Well, I specialize in all aspects of program and project management. Really enjoy doing never been done before high risk projects. They can really be at any risk level, but I truly enjoy the high risk projects and finding solutions to complex problems and occasionally dealing with complex people that cause those problems. So what I need and what I ask is just some business development links, some networking, and a way to get our company out to more people.
Great. Brad, name of the company again?
Greencastle Associates Consulting. I think you know very well, Alex.
Who?
Yep.
Who?
Who? Huh?
Go away.
All
Where's
right.
Sprout?
Back on mute. Back on mute. Let's herd the cats. We have Eric D. So if you're, that's all I have here. Eric D. If your last name starts with a D and your first name's Eric, unmute yourself, please.
Hey, good morning, Alex. Hey, Eric DeFrancisco. I got to figure out how to get that squared away on there. I'm kind of new to the group here.
Welcome.
And been in the Philadelphia area for about 5 years, but have been really, my specialty is leading multi-unit profit centers, tight margin, retail, and quick service restaurant environments. Most recently responsible for about 700 convenience stores, generating about 1.3 billion in revenue. So, I mean, listen, I can bring some value to the group with really more national connections than local. And I'm here just to connect locally and appreciate the group.
Thank you. Welcome to the group. As you can see, we run, or Ashley runs a little tight ship for 30 seconds.
I got it.
You'll get to know us as, you know, it's a good thing. And look forward for you to participating in future events of ours. Chanel, you're on.
Good morning, Chanel Santiago, U.S. Army. I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs at the Norristown Vet Center. What we need is we're looking for any veteran, active guard reservists and their family that are looking for counseling. As long as the veteran or service member served in combat or in a conflict or is a survivor of military sexual trauma, we can take care of their counseling needs without them having to go to a VA hospital. And yes, we do welcome the families. I'm going to say that again. That's very important. A lot of people don't know about us, so send people our way, and you can also use us as a resource. Thanks.
Perfect. Perfect. Gabe Schick, you're on.
Morning, everyone. Gabe Schick. I am a former Marine. I work with McPherson and Newland Insurance. I essentially, I guess the value that I could bring to the table for businesses and families alike is a you know, kind of a thorough look over of your insurance affairs and make sure you're, you know, in the right place. You got the right coverages going. I guess, yeah, I'm just looking to connect with businesses and families. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Gabe. Hank Gillen's on.
Hank.
Hank, I think you're on, but you might be muted. Try again. Okay. Hank, you on? He's pushing the button a couple times.
He's good.
We're going to try to come back, Hank. Joe Junguza, and I apologize for messing that up. I'm good like that.
Junguza. I used to be referred to by whatever my rank was in my last name. So kind of changed after today. Anyway, I'm a sales director from Mutual of Omaha. So really two things, looking to hire people who want to be financial advisors. And then on the individual side, I do financial planning for small businesses. Ones with employees, 401ks, buy, sell agreements, things like that.
All right. Thank you so much. Joey Mack calling in from New Jersey.
Hi guys, how's it going? Joey Mack Dizon, owner of the Mobile Cigar Lounge, United States Marine Corps. Opening up a new business that I want to announce to the GPVN, Bellawood Cigars, which will be open up in June. What I offer is entertainment and socialization in the entertainment industry. What I'm looking to do is connect with wedding planners, event planners, corporate events, golf outings. You know, a lot of things are happening today, but you know, we can definitely see what the events are going on for later in the year. Once again, my name is Joey Mack, owner of the Mobile Cigar Lounge and Bellawood Cigars. Thank you.
Appreciate that. We're going to take a 1 second break to share with everybody that's new, or just to remind people as well. You know, there have been a lot of business transactions going on behind the scenes with this Veteran Business Referral Network. With Joey Mack coming in from New Jersey, he sees value in what we're doing and with his business as well. And then, you know we've had some success stories with Gabe in insurance. So please take note, continue note, even though you may not know people directly, note the businesses that these people are in and how we can help them continue to serve. So I apologize. It just missed somebody. Okay, John D. I'm not sure if I covered you, but John D. Might be John DiNapoli. You might try to unmute. All right, John, trying it one more time. John D. Nope, seems like it's not working. We'll go back. Ashley, just take note of Hank and John at the end and see if we can do it one more time. John Gagliano, you're on.
Good morning, Alex. John Gagliano, Navy vet. I was an aviator. I then went to law school, so I am now an aviation attorney. I also specialize in complex litigation. I bring value by, I'm one of the only lawyers in the group, so I have an immense legal network. If you have any legal problem, I can connect you with a specialist who can help. What do I need? Look, I'm just happy to help. I offer some pro bono services for veterans claims if you know anyone who needs help with that area. But my specialty is aviation and complex litigation.
Well, you win the prize today for being on point.
Yeah.
So thanks, John. John Childs, another VBRN committee member like Brad Mills. John Childs, you're up.
John Childs, Army. I'm partner of McNamara Financial Group. I'm a full financial planner. I do all kinds of different financial plans for people, full for individuals and for companies. The value I can bring to the members here, I've actually introduced a lot of people to each other in this group. I just did one yesterday, as a matter of fact, even during the middle of the COVID virus. So I'm nonstop. The value you can bring to me. You can actually introduce me to more veteran-owned businesses. I like to look at people's businesses, benefits, life insurance, group health insurance, 401ks, 403bs, things like that. So Jonathan Childs, McNamara Financial Group.
Thanks, John. I think that was one of the probably our most fluid ones. And it's a reminder to us that, during this exercise, we do this exercise, but also please note that we're practicing the ask. So if you want to please help, as John is doing, and also be an asker, which is very hard for a lot of veterans before. So be upfront of what your needs are as well. Kyle White.
Hi, Kyle White. Marine Corps with Milestone Therapy Group. We provide speech therapy for kids. The value I bring is a member of several networking organizations and associated with several nonprofits locally and nationally. The ask is listen for parents complaining that their preschool, daycare, school, whatnot's closed and they can't get their kids therapy. We provide online speech therapy and we accept several insurances. We also offer a free, no obligation consultation to help.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, we're going to go to Stephanie Cleck. Welcome. And Stephanie was is with John Cleck, partner in crime together.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. My name is Stephanie Cleck. I am a proud Navy spouse, and this is my first VBRN. So I'm excited to get to experience this today. I am the co-founder of Concierge with John. We are in the process of becoming a tech company. So our seek right now would be introductions to investors, and then obviously any advice on how to, kind of navigate what we have going on right now. What we can bring to the table is, an ear to listen. This is definitely a crazy time to be running a business, and we're happy to sit down and have a beer, a glass of wine on some Zoom calls and talk about all the craziness. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome. All right, we're going to do an avatar now, since this person doesn't have a name. Ton 60872, and I'm assuming when I said that I unlocked the new realm. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Hi, my name is April Morton, and I'm the regional residency coordinator for Troops to Teachers. The value that we bring at Temple University is that we provide a one-year accelerated master's program that includes a paid residency, and with two of our partners, either the School District of Philadelphia or String Theory Schools. What I need is just for you to get the word out to anybody that you know who is looking to transition into teaching without having to take a year off from work, because like I said, it is paid. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Yasmin George, welcome. Still on mute, Yasmin, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. I'm Yasmin George. I'm an Army spouse, and I am a marketing strategist. I have a marketing agency called Trend Lab, and I do a lot of marketing strategy and lead gen using paid media, social media advertising, Facebook and Instagram. But as of late, I've been slightly pivoting where I've been getting asked a lot to do marketing audits and coaching. So I've actually coached about 30 veteran entrepreneurs over the DC, Maryland, Virginia, and Philadelphia area. And so I'm going to be doing a coaching program. So my ask is, if anybody knows anyone that's been doing training, coaching, that could either mentor or I can have a conversation with, that would help me out.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Clinton Matthews, you're on. I don't know if I see you on audio or not, but I see you on video. So Clinton, if you're not dialed in, go ahead. Or if you can talk, go ahead. Okay, not yet. I don't think he's on audio, he's on video. And then John with no last name, you're on video, but you're not on audio. Okay, so we're gonna go back to a couple people that we missed. There's a new person that came in, Galaxy Note 9, the new avatar. Can you please share what you do?
Hey, Alex, it's Maddie. That may be me.
Welcome.
Hi. So I'm Maddie Johnson. I am a cruise specialist. As you know, the travel industry has taken a tremendous hit. So since I'm not selling any travel, what I'm doing is promoting other businesses on social media, hoping that I can help drive customers to them by doing so.
Thank you, Maddie. Maddie is also a VBRN committee member. Chris Katsapis, and I apologize for not mentioning well, Chris is our Villanova representative on here for our sponsor.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you can hear me. I'm Chris Katsapis. I'm the manager of college partnerships with Villanova University's College of Professional Studies, and we're excited to be a partner and a sponsor this year for these events. We are the professional education and continuing education arm of Villanova University, offering degree and credit programs, and looking forward to continuing to share some of those resources for you and your families. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Hank Gillen, we're going to try again one more time. Are you able to come on? All right. And then we have John DiNapoli. John, you want to try it one more time yourself? Okay. So everybody, I hope everybody got everybody's information down. I apologize if I may have missed somebody. This is just through the clean list, and anybody that came on, it might have been hard for me to see somebody. But we've got some great value information on here. We're going to wrap it up at the end of kind of next action steps. So what I asked for you kind of on a professional note is we have a speaker now. So I want you to kind of turn in and really focus on our speaker today. He's taking the time to be here. Our speaker today is John Cleck. John will be talking about executing your partnership, lessons on how to navigate the tricky waters of going into business with your spouse and friends and keep them away. That should be pretty entertaining. And John Cleck is a 24-year veteran of the Navy SEAL teams. John currently serves as the Director of Leadership and Development with Greencastle Consulting, an award-winning veteran-centric consulting firm with an innovative approach to cultivating leaders. Though his high school counselor predicting a lifetime alternating between prison and nude modeling, John has defied those predictions for now and spent a career in small business startups, government program management, and federal law enforcement, where he spent 3 years with the FBI assigned to the National Joint Terrorism Task Force. John's doctoral research in organizational leadership and innovation, combined with his military special operations leadership, provides a foundation for his expertise in human performance management, focusing on communication, resource alignment, and team development. John also likes to write fancy things about himself to make it sound like he knows what I'm doing, because strategy. So I know I tried to get that all right, John. That was a lot at once, but I appreciate it. And just so that everybody knows, he pitched at our Shark Tank last year, was one of the 5 finalists for our veteran Shark Tank. So John, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So if you want to do, start sharing yours. And let me know how it goes.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, let's get this up. Okay, Alex, can you guys see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hey, good morning, everybody. I had known you were going to read my bio like that, I would definitely put in more words just to see if I could get you, like that Ron Burgundy thing, just to see if I could get you to read whatever's on the teleprompter.
It was going that way. It was going that way.
Just to get you to read whatever's on the teleprompter. Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us. And I know your time's valuable. Can I ask if you're not on? I'll ask you to mute your mic, so just so we can keep the audio good. So I know your time is valuable, particularly in the crazy time that we're living in right now. So I'll keep my remarks brief. In the Navy, we were told to be brief, be brilliant, and be gone. That was those were our protocols for speaking. So in that vein, I will try and be brief, hopefully be a little brilliant, and be gone. So when Erica asked me to speak about going into business with a partner, I really didn't think I had that much to share. But it wasn't until I reflected back on how I've gone into business with both one of my great friends as well as my wife in separate businesses, and as I reflected on it, we learned. I reflected on what I've learned and what I came away with in the SEAL teams about teamwork, I recognize that that I learned a lot about how to coexist and straddle that line between personal and professional relationships. So thanks to Alex and Erica for giving me an opportunity to do some self-reflection and gain a little more self-awareness. Alex read my bio, so I'm not going to belabor the point. Probably the biggest takeaway from this is the fourth bullet point down. If you have any kids who are in college and you're worried about their liberal studies degree, I actually have a BS in BS, and somehow I'm being moderately successful in life. So with that, I am currently the Director of Leadership Development with Greencastle Consulting. And so in that vein, I've brought both my operational side from that leadership side from 24 years in the SEAL teams with an academic component. I'm a doctoral student now studying organizational leadership and innovation. So so my shared lessons learned will be both drawn from science and the academic side, as well as some practical application from what I've learned in my almost quarter century in the Navy. Here's my promise to you. This was a great quote that I saw a long time ago. I hope that when I die, it's during a PowerPoint presentation, because the transition from life to death will be barely noticeable. That's my promise to you. I loathe when speakers use PowerPoints as a crutch. So, and I know this might be before your first cup of coffee, and I don't want to be responsible for anybody's death or perhaps the maiming of one of your kids because you haven't had your first cup of coffee yet. So in that vein, let's get into it. I'm in addition to my day job with Greencastle, I'm also partners in two other businesses. I'd like to say side hustles, but they're more in fact full-time hustles that I give up sleep and something and eating perhaps to help manage these companies. At the top, my wife introduced herself and our company. We are a mobile hair salon that goes exclusively into our clients' homes. We send our hairstylists into our clients' homes. We're a team of 7 operating here around the Philly area, and we're looking to expand on a national platform. At the bottom, this was sort of one of those organic things that started out as just a hobby and has since grown into something a little bit more. I am the co-host with my partner to the right there, Josh. I'm the co-host of the Kill Cliff podcast. Again, one of those things that just sort of started as just something, a fun hobby to do. Josh and I were doing stand-up on the side, and then things sort of organically developed, and now we are the co-hosts of a national of a podcast for a national energy drink company. So as I speak about my lessons learned today, they'll largely be driven, and I'll largely speak about lessons with my spouse, but they're really applicable. They're lessons that you can apply to any close working relationship. Anytime you're working in a close team environment, the stress of today, of this coronavirus crisis that we're in, the uncertainty of the future, the new methods of having to collaborate together, those add additional stressors. So there's certainly opportunities for us to look at how we work, how our working relationships work, and work through some of that stress, particularly that new stress that we're experiencing in today's environment. We've learned a few key lessons, and as I was thinking about what those key lessons were, I came up with essentially eight pointers for how to work with your spouse or any other partner that you're working in a close collaborative relationship with. The first one is to disengage before you engage. My wife and I, by the end of the day, we're both hangry. We haven't eaten in a few hours. We're dealing with yet another small business challenge. The kids are bouncing off the walls. And also, did I seriously just hear you tell one of our vendors that thing? Or why would you say that on the phone? Or why would you tell one of our employees? Or why did you miss this? And some of our worst arguments have started because we allowed one debate or one issue that's totally unrelated to our work to spill over into our work. Or we used an opportunity in an argument to pile on a work complaint about the other person. And so my first point is to disengage before you engage. And anybody who's been a new parent here knows that same advice that that they give to new parents, that before you pick up your colicky, screaming baby, they tell you to take that deep breath, count to 10, and to disengage from one issue before you engage in the other issue. So my wife and I, we've learned that whether we're in a disagreement about family or anything, it's not the time to pile on a work complaint onto the fire. That fire burns for a long time, and our couch is really comfortable for a Sunday afternoon nap, but not for a full night's rest, particularly multiple nights in a row. So we have in fact learned to disengage, learn to practice better discipline in separating our disagreements, and we've learned to approach that nagging business issue with some empathy and with some diplomacy, which I'll get into in just a sec. And we find that when we do disengage from that work issue that was irritating us, we get a far better resolution down the road when we've been able to articulate our issue, and we actually find better collaborative solutions when we take that breath and pause. This picture was taken while Penn State was playing the University of Memphis in the bowl game this past year, and you can see by the look on our faces that we've probably allowed some work issues to spill over into our competing interests with which team was going to win, which incidentally was Penn State. My wife's from Memphis, and her family is all University of Memphis grads, and I'm a Penn State product. So one of my kids took this picture, and I thought it really captured that second lesson, which was to objectively examine the stressors and objectively examine the things that are causing you the stress. If you can totally separate your business relationship from your personal relationship with your spouse, with your best friend that you're in business with, or even just colleagues that you're working with in your day job, then you actually don't need to listen any further. In fact, you can email your secret recipe for how you do this, and then I'll repost it as a blog of my own and take credit for it. But the reality is that that we have a hard time separating those stressors that are causing us to have conflict, particularly as we look at what we're dealing with today. Right, there's a lot of elevated stress and arguments about tasks that can be handled internally have a tendency to spill over, and we don't have an opportunity to objectively examine those stressors. My wife and I, we've debated the authority of certain key employees and what tasks should be handled by who, and we struggle to stay in our lanes. And for us, one of the tricks that works for us is what's now become, or what was a work issue, but has now spilled over into a personal issue. For me, I like to use a whiteboard, and at the risk of overcomplicating or over creating more work for ourselves, for us, that's what helps us to step back out of the issue that we're having. And actually, I'm a visual learner, so I like to put things up on the whiteboard, and it helps us to write down our pros and cons and some of those additional factors that are leading us to lean one way or another. I like to write down what the pros and cons are, and my wife likes to erase it and simply write, do you want dinner tonight or not? Knowing that I like to eat, but I can't cook, that's a trump card that I'm powerless against. So, no, I'm kidding, sort of. But we do write down our reasons and our thought processes for the stances that we've taken, and allows us to step back and dissect those pros and those cons and our thought processes. The whiteboard is what works for us. You may have another method, but it's really, it allows us, whatever method you choose, that allows you to step back from the problem, to give more consideration to your partner or to your colleagues' opinions, and you can get a better look at, and you'll ultimately get to a better end state. My third point is practicing diplomacy, which goes along with giving honest feedback. And I saw this meme on Facebook, and I just thought it was hilarious and really captured the challenges of diplomacy, particularly with military vets, right? So when you are just a manager and there's a pecking order, You can offer your employees honest feedback, and they understand there's a constructive feedback as part of the process in their company, and that employee probably also isn't getting your kids ready for bed that night, or you may not have an intimate, close relationship with that partner or with that coworker. So straddling that the practice or the process of giving honest feedback or really requires a concerted effort in diplomacy, and honest feedback becomes a much more complicated challenge when you have a closer working relationship with your spouse, with your best friend, or with anybody else that you have a close relationship with, that you're in business with. So for me, diplomacy and timing are key. Some time-tested couples strategies that a couples therapist would offer, that taken straight out of the Marriage 101 playbook, rather than saying, hey, you are doing this or you are doing that. You can start with that's the verbal equivalent of pointing your finger right at that individual, right? And there's an implied blame that's put on that individual. So rather than you're doing this or you're doing that, marriage therapist would have you say, I feel like, or it seems to me that when XYZ happens. That's a very subtle difference, but the difference is that the former puts the blame, you do this, that puts the blame on that receiving party, whereas the latter, hey, I feel, or it seems to me, the latter really doesn't assign blame on the speaker, but it takes that blame off the listener, and there's real power in words. So when you are in a close working relationship or where you're straddling the fence of both personal and professional relationships, that concerted effort in diplomacy goes a long way. Some additional things for diplomacy: practicing taking notes, and you probably know most of these. We've learned most of these in the military, or just being married to, or in a relationship, even with kids. Repeating back what that speaker said to you, and then responding, explaining why you may see it from their perspective, showing that excuse me, that empathy really helps to diffuse the situation and allow you to make more substantive progress forward in resolving conflict. My fourth point is to give each other some leeway. I'll tell you very honestly, and that's leeway in making mistakes, leeway in overlooking something, forgetting something, leeway in miscommunication. I chose this picture because Philly fans are notorious for not being forgiving folks. I'm, as a diehard Eagles fan, I find myself in the same boat sometimes. But really what I was trying to convey here is giving each other leeway. And I'll share a story. My wife texted me one day that we were going to have our proposed next staff meeting on a particular date. And as part of her proposal, she gave me the timeline, and in that timeline, it included me at the very end. And it just said, you know, here, you'll show up here at the very end. And excuse me. So I saw that. I saw where I was on the timeline, and I said to her, I gave her, you know, a piece of my mind. Why would you just invite me for the end of an all hands staff meeting when I'm fully 50% of this business? And what an insult to everything that we're doing together in this business. And I continued to let my ego get the better of me, and I lashed out her for demeaning my value to the business. But what I didn't do was give her some leeway and give her the benefit of the doubt. And had I approached it differently, I would have seen that she had shuffled the meeting timeline around specifically to accommodate a schedule conflict that I had for that date. The original schedule didn't allow for me to get to the meeting at all on that date. So she'd moved the meeting time, shuffled the timeline around so that I could attend the meeting at all. And knowing that we had other dates that didn't work for us, that was the date that worked best. So after apologizing, I made a mental note of the lesson I learned there, and that things will get overlooked, that missteps will happen, that decisions will be made sometimes without your input as a member of the team. Sometimes because the speed of business demands it, and that we're all human, and that we owe each other some leeway to make mistakes, and that is a lot easier than swallowing your foot or sleeping on the couch. So my fourth point is to offer each other some leeway, and that's particularly as stress levels come up in this time of uncertainty and stress with this national emergency. Offering each other some leeway will not only create more collaborative and effective relationships and make your team work more productive, but it'll lower not only your teammates' stress, but your stress as well. My fifth point is to embrace each other's. Anybody? That is an old wooden ship.
What in the hell's diversity? Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era. Ron, I would be surprised if the affiliates were concerned about the lack of an old wooden ship, but nice try.
Did anybody get that? Anybody get embrace each other? Wow. All right. Listen, not every joke's going to hit, but
it was a good one.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah. And I actually searched for about 30 minutes trying to find a picture of an old wooden ship. So I know, and I'll speak for myself personally. I know that when I get an idea, I like to run with it. And then I get married to my idea because I thought of it. I'm pretty confident in my own ideas. But I have to catch myself becoming too beholden to my own ideas because they're the product of a single line of thinking. So I challenge you to embrace your teammates' diversity. And I'm not just talking about gender of diversity or diversity of gender or skin color or background, but because of what those things represent. They represent diversity of thought, diversity of experiences, and diversity of perspectives. And those things are what create that variety and what really are your sanity check for your points. Those are those are the things that it's that diversity of thought, diversity of experiences, and diversity of perspectives that allow a particular project or a thought process to be not only be more inclusive, but to touch more people, to have a better end state. It's very easy for us to become to want someone to think like us because we like the way we think, right? And it's easy to become frustrated when they don't. But I put this up there because it's a very specific it's a specific endeavor that we have to remind ourselves to do is to when we have opposing opinions, that those are the things that they prevent us from making poor decisions in a vacuum. They identify threats and opportunities from having a second set of eyes and ears, and it'll ultimately make a better product. My sixth point is to know thyself. I saw this meme on Facebook as well, and I thought it was funny. Because my wife's on this line, I won't say which one I think she is and which one I think I am. Steph, are you still on the line? Otherwise, I can. All right. So what I really mean by this is there's a number of personality tests out there. And this is just a handful of them that you'll see. Connie Deacon's influence test and the Enneagram, if you're familiar with that, and the at the bottom left, the personality test, and the there's just a variety of the 16 personalities, but really, and there's so many of them, but really and none are more important than the other, but what these self-assessment tests, and they're all of them are free online, or at least a free version of them online, but what they allow you to do is to become more self-aware, and then you can share that with your partner. One of the barriers to being a good teammate is ego and fear. But when we learn about ourselves, and not just, oh, I know who I am, but when you really learn about who you are and why you are who you are, and you can do that through the assessments, when you're honest with yourself, these assessments can be a great starting point to help you cut through that fear and ego and to be more effective, not only as business leaders, but helping your team and contributing to your team. When you understand, when you share that information, when you understand who your business or who your partner is, whether it's your spouse in your personal relationship or your best buddy that you're in business with and you co-host a podcast with, or just folks that you work with on a team, when you take some of these personality assessments, and some of them different, some of them are very narrow and they look just at a particular character trait, whether it's your grit or your influence, or they look at the overall personality as the Enneagram does and your 16 personalities. And they look at overall who you are, but they don't just look at who you are, but why you are who you are. When you understand that about your partner, why who they are, what their fears are, what their motivations are, then you're able to have more constructive conversations. You're able to provide feedback to. We talked about that diplomacy. You're able to provide that diplomacy in a way that will resonate with your partner. So I would encourage everyone to go on, just search personality assessment, and there's lists of hundreds of personality assessments will come up. Your top list of Google will probably be some of these: the Enneagram, the 16 personality test. Take that, and then when you take it, one of the things that we do, we have a tendency to want to take these assessments based on who we want to be and not necessarily who we are. I would encourage you to take them and being honest with yourself about who you really are, what your fears are, what your motivations are. And you can really get a little bit deeper than when you share that information and your partners on your team share that information. You really create a much more collaborative team, a much more open what's the term? Psychologically safe team where people are free to offer their feedback and free to feel to offer innovative ideas and not fear criticism or negative feedback. In my seventh point is to take time to disconnect and reconnect. And this is really when you're talking about having both personal and professional relationships and trying to go back and forth between the two in folks that you're in business with, but even just in your regular work environment, if you're working in corporate America, taking time to disconnect and reconnect on a social level, to go on a date and reconnect like this couple. I'm kidding. This guy looks like he totally regrets signing up for this reality show. But maybe like these folks and my wife and I are guilty of going on dates and trying to reconnect. And one of us will catch the other looking at our phone. So what I'm really talking about is this kind of reconnection. And now that we're all working from home, we have a little bit more time. Maybe to not just take a break and go down to the water cooler, but maybe go down and take a walk outside. Take the dog for that same 10 minutes you might spend in the water cooler. Maybe you can actually go outside and take a walk down your street. But what I mean is really taking time to turn it off and to gel together, whether it's with your spouse or friends that you're in business with, or just teammates that you're working with in a different environment, to go out to dinner, to put away that phone, and when I say put it on, take it off your body so you don't even feel it vibrate. Shut the laptops down, put on Netflix, Joe, or just find opportunities to laugh. For my wife and I, we've tried to, our first go-to, we wake up in the morning, we look at the phone to see what time it is, and we see the text messages waiting for us, and we immediately go into our phone. So what we've tried to do is before we turn over to the phone, you take a look at the phone for the time, or you look at the clock that we have on the wall, and then we pick something else to talk about to kick the day off, something other than business, and get immersed for the day. Because we're like lawnmowers, right? Once you pull that cord, it's going, and it's hard to turn that off once you're going for the day. So for my wife and I, we've tried to kick the day off by just 1 to 3 minutes of talking about something other than business. And that's good advice for those of us who are working from home for now and for the foreseeable future. You can really start to practice some of those opportunities and start to practice or create good practices of doing something, getting the day going with something other than business, or being able to turn business off for 10 minutes, and what that and I think we all know when we've had that opportunity to do that, particularly now that we're out of the office and we're not totally surrounded by that work environment, or just the work mantra, or the work that work thought line of thinking, that to take that opportunity off, I think, and the science backs it, you can be much more effective in your work environment when you've actually taken a few minutes to turn it off. And my last point is to laugh. My comedy partner and I went to one of these sprint triathlons on Halloween, and we thought everybody else was going to be dressed up for Halloween to do their sprint triathlon, and it turns out we were the only ones. But we used that as an opportunity to laugh at ourselves. You can see the guy over my right shoulder. That's how they're dressed: shorts and a t-shirt, ready to really taking this thing seriously. And Josh and I, not so much. But I'll tell you, from my doctoral research, one of the things I've studied is laughter, and the science. There is science that supports that laughter truly is the best medicine. When you're able to create opportunities to laugh together, it eases tensions, it brings teams together, it reduces stress, it fosters bonding and understanding. When my wife and I were developing our core values for our company, we came up with 5 pretty good core values that spoke to our commitment to our clients, and it spoke to our commitment to our exceptional service and commitment to our team and growing the company. But we added a 6th core value, and it says, stop, laugh, and love. Hard work without laughs and time for family and friends is no life at all. And we did that deliberately because, I mean, our company, like the next, we like money like the next guy. We like the pursuit of growing our company, but it's really more than about just monetary wealth. It's about, and we force ourselves to have opportunities to decompress and to laugh. And there is a tremendous psychological value in that. So I'll leave you with this. And this is, again, another one of the memes that I found in the madness that we're all living in right now, with the uncertainty and the anxiety. This meme is probably sage advice for helping us keep a sound perspective about what's important. That meme could also say, what I thought would help me through this unprecedented crisis was hard work, but it's also healthy eating and time off and decompressing. So when I say, when you have greater balance in your life, it'll help you. It'll help you find it easier to disengage before you engage, to objectively examine those stressors, to practice diplomacy, to give each other some leeway and step back and understand that mistakes will happen, particularly in the times that we're in. Mistakes will happen. Things will be overlooked. That human factor, as we try and figure out this new work environment, to embrace each other's diversity of thought and of perspective and lines of thinking, to take those, to go in and take some of those personality assessments and learn who you are and why you are who you are, and share that information so that your teammates can also share that information, and it'll be easier to practice that diplomacy, easier to give each other that leeway when you understand what somebody's motivations and what their fears and what their internal drivers are. Take time to disconnect and reconnect, particularly as a lot of us are working from home and doing that 6-foot social distancing. And then finally, forcing ourselves to find opportunities to laugh as we struggle through the challenge of this national crisis for this week, next week, and for untold time. With that, that's my time. That's how you can connect with me. And if you care to follow us on Instagram or Facebook, there's our podcast and there's our company. And with that, Alex, I'll turn it back over to you.
John, thank you so much. I want everybody, if we can, to practice a little bit so John can see us. I'll put myself on mute, but let's give him a virtual round of applause. John, you deserve it. Let's give him a virtual round of applause.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. you guys. Let me unshare this here.
So one of the things we're going to do is in the chat group at the bottom of your screen, everybody should have a chat group. Some of you have been chiming in. If you have any questions for John, we're going to do that. If you want to write in there some questions that you have for him or anything else, please put in there. John, I'm going to get started for a question for you is when you talk about honesty, you know, sometimes it's timing. It's what's on our mind. We want to talk about what we're feeling, what we're thinking. You know, being honest is very, in the military, is being very direct sometimes. So there's kind of an art to the communication style, right? So what is your best advice for having honest communication? You know, I have a business partner, right? So how do you schedule honest conversations with your business partner?
Well, let me say that one of the first things I always want to say is when people ask questions is Jesse Ventura, who is absolute Looney Tunes, but when he was campaigning for governor of Minnesota, he did a thing that excuse me, is very unlike what we see in traditional from traditional politicians. Is he often said, I don't know that I have the best answer. I'll offer you some thoughts, but I'll do some more research and get back to you. So in that vein, I want to answer and be sure to answer his questions with that in mind, that I don't know that I have the perfect answers. I will tell you, and Steph, if she's still on, could probably testify to this. We have had to say, and again, just offering a lens from us as spouses, we have had to say, hey, can we talk business for a second? Now, for Josh and I, and for my colleagues at Greencastle, timing is when we get asked a question. Sometimes just offering or requesting time to chew on it prevents us from giving knee-jerk reactions or feeling like we have to give the perfect answer right away. Saying, hey, you know what? Let me chew on that one for a little bit. That allows us to disconnect and really chew on it, and without the pressure of feeling like, oh man, I have to give you an answer right now. So for us, timing is about maybe asking for additional time to chew on something in terms of when you're going to when to talk to a business partner. I think setting the stage that, hey man, we have to have a tough conversation. I think for anybody, well, all of us in the military who have ever had to counsel our subordinates, you know that setting the stage, hey, I need to talk to you about something. We know we're dealing with a tough issue, where there's a sales issue, there's one of our employees, the way that last meeting went, setting the stage, and then again, practicing that diplomacy is offering your sense of how you perceived it, and then practicing being a good listener, saying, hey, I'm done. The one thing I don't want to belabor your answer, Alex, but the one thing I'll say about listening, and I kind of glossed over this, being an active listener, it has enormous effect for the receiver, for the speaking party, and that's something that I think we can all improve on. But when you and we've all experienced it, when you're speaking to somebody and you know that they've formed a thought in the first 5 seconds of your answer, and you have another 60 seconds to go, and they're doing this, just waiting to get a word in edgewise, you know that they have already formed an opinion, and you haven't gotten but 5% of your response out, and you know that you can already see that they're not listening. So what I would say is, for us to show that we're active listeners, maybe take notes. Just don't recognize your own body language. If it shows that you're waiting to respond until they take a breath, that's something that can be very distracting for the speaker. And when you show that you're an active listener, it really goes a long way to show that the speaker that you are listening, and that when you speak, that they may feel like you have really fully digested what they had to say, and now they'll give you that same kind of attention.
I appreciate that, John. Right now, there's no additional questions being here, but we'll wait a minute or so. But I wanted to kind of reiterate things that you said, John. Your first of all, that was a great presentation, very well thought out, good humor in there, and a lot of great tips and strategy to do it, because if you think of the world today, you know, we are balancing work and how to be family. And I always believe that family is like a business. There's HR, there's sales, there's marketing, there's operations, and we are in the thick of it now, right? So I think our words, our tone, our time is for many of us, you know, that are in those with kids at home or not, it's just an adjustment. So adjustment means how do you focus? And I think what you shared was how to really think in advance. So if you reach a moment, how to really be emotionally intelligent about it, about preparing yourself for those conversations with a spouse or conversations with workers in a new environment right now. No, Joey, we're not going to ask that question. Do you smoke cigars? That was Joey Mack throwing in there. You know, his question is, do you smoke cigars? Which we did virtually, my friend. So again, John, excellent stuff. Just so everybody knows, this is going to be recorded. So we're going to put it online for additional information to share around. And again, John, thanks for being very flexible. I think of any of our speakers, we couldn't have chosen anybody better for this environment because of where you're coming from the environment. So I always say, you know, you're unfortunately blessed to be in this environment and we're the first in line for you. So to share back the screen with everybody, we are going to do kind of a quick wrap up here. I know there was new people that joined us, so appreciate your patience on here. I'm going to go through to see who joined us. I think there was Eric Stetson. Eric, if you can unmute yourself and just give your 30-second pitch. And then we're going to go back to the slide here of your 30-second pitch so you can see what it is. So go ahead, Eric, if you can hear me, unmute yourself and your 30-second pitch.
Yeah, hey, good morning. I jumped on a little bit late, heard a good part of Jonathan's briefing. Really good points, re-emphasized to remind me of some key things as well. So definitely appreciated that. Definitely appreciate his comment on the Enneagram, something kind of near and dear to my heart. So Eric Stetson served in the Army for 24 years as an artillery officer, got out, did some consulting work. Now I'm the regional director for 4 Block. I'm a people person, talent development, team development. That's what I do. Right now I do it full time with veterans in 4 Block, which is a career professional development program for veterans trying to transition into civilian careers. So if you know of a veteran that is struggling with that or getting ready for that or wants to transition their career, love to have that conversation with them. Thanks.
Thanks, Eric. Hank, we're going to do it again. If Hank's not going to be able to join us, I'll give him a plug here. I'm drinking his coffee. If anybody can see mine. Oh, Hank, you're on.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I was had to adjust my ComSec settings here. I had the mic unplugged from a previous screening. Hank Gill and St. Joe's, we teach entrepreneurship for veterans. The cohort who were due in on Sunday have been deferred because of the health circumstances, and will be coming in October. If anybody wants to take the Veteran Entrepreneurship Program, I encourage you can reach out and apply. Obviously, first opportunity on the seats go to the people who were already enrolled, but in the event that somebody's not available in October, you could get in the queue. I'm also looking for topics that we can share. We're looking at expanding our virtual learning offerings to the veteran business community, and this seems like a good environment to practice it. So if you've got something you're looking for that we could provide as a university, let us know.
Great, thanks, Hank. And I know a lot of VBRN members are speakers for what you do, and then some of them have pitched at our Veteran Shark Tank as well. Case in point, I think with John Cleck and his business. So I apologize to everybody else. Like I said before, if you came in late, I may have missed your name. I'm not recognizing it. So we're going to go through this go around. So before we wrap up on kind of a little bit of an admin of a tool that we're going to use, I just want to share with everybody kind of some responsibilities. So take this time to really adapt to the virtual market. So please, phone calls are good, but Zoom is better. Face-to-face is going to be kind of the new norm, and embrace it more than ever. You'll see that you'll want to use it every day, and it's good to see people. It's really good to see people. So we're going to share the list of people that were in this meeting today for you to contact. We're going to host another event. We're going to do this every month. So I know we were supposed to launch VBRN in New Jersey for next month because that's been deferred. We are going to take that place into doing another one. So third Wednesday next month, the information will be out. We'll also have additional information on our programs for Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network. We have a slew of online things coming up. Stand by on those that are going to be shared on social media and everywhere else. So please connect with others, refer business to them, look what you need, set up meetings. Lastly, there is going to be a new partner with ours. A few of you have already done so. You're going to see a message from us with this HIO platform. So this was allow you to connect more behind the scenes with members from the VBRN community. So this is a technology networking app. We are learning as we go. And the next VBRN, we're going to have a more detailed explanation. But in the meantime, your mission is to download what we send you, create your profile, and look for other members to connect with them. And that's where it's going. So in addition to face-to-face, there's online networking, which this is doing as well. So this would be a really good fill-in for our new norm that we're in, and we're excited to use that. Bear with me 1 second. I think somebody sent a note. And all right. So other than that, thank you, everybody. Thank you, VBRN committee, for being flexible. John, thank you as well. And thank you, everybody. This was a great first one for us. And any feedback you have, please send it to us. We're always looking to make it better. Thank you, Comcast, NBC Universal, and Villanova Continued Studies, University Continued Studies for your sponsorship. And we look forward to hearing all the success stories next month. Take care, everybody.
Well done, Alex.